Well, it was an 18-minute inning for the Nationals, and Jordan Zimmermann was on the base paths for a lot of it. Of course, he drove in the run to give Washington the lead, and will be facing the cleanup hitter Alan Craig here in the bottom of the second inning. Craig will be followed by Yadier Molina and David Freese. First pitch, ball one. It was Craig who was up with the bases loaded, nobody out in the seventh inning against Ryan Matthews, and hit one sharply at Ian Desmond and to force it home. And then the double play ended the big threat for the Cardinals in the seventh.
That was an interesting play because the Nationals were not playing at double play depth, but they weren't playing all the way in. They were kind of in that in-between area, and it was up to Ian Desmond to determine, was the ball hit hard enough to get the out at home plate, or was it hit slowly enough that they needed to just try to turn two up the middle. Desmond made a great decision and a great throw to get the force at home.
2 balls and 1 strike. Two and two as Craig fouls it off to the right. Craig 0 for 4 in yesterday's game. Coming off a big year, was 6th in the National League with a .307 mark. Hit 22 homers, drove in 92. In fact, the Cardinals had 5 players in their lineup who hit 20 or more home runs. Fouled away again. Sharply hit off the glove of Ryan Zimmerman, and Craig is going to reach. Hard hit ball that Zimmerman could not handle, and it's going to be a base hit. There's Yadier Molina, who was 0 for 3, walked and scored on a wild pitch. He bounced into that double play that ended the big chance, but he delivers with a base hit to center field. Craig rounds third, will get to round second, gets to third easily, and Molina with a base hit, and that's what Mike Matheny's looking for. Craig and Molina coming alive, and runners at first and third, nobody out. And David Freese, who had 2 hits yesterday and reached on an error. An opportunity for the Cardinals. Yesterday they answered the 1 run for Washington with 2 of their own in the second. Nobody out, runners at the corners, and ball 1 to Freese. Alan Craig is at third, Yadier Molina at first. Two balls and no strikes. As you mentioned at the outset, Bob, the Cardinals were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position in game 1.
Now, this is a good time out here by Ian Desmond. Most of the time it's the catcher. Occasionally it'll be the pitching coach. But in this case, it's Ian Desmond, the shortstop, that takes the time to come into the mound. Just let Zimmerman catch his breath out there a little bit. Maybe heart racing a little bit now with runners at the corner and nobody out. And now let's go back to work.
Zimmerman behind Freese, 2 balls and no strikes. And now it is 3-0 to Freese. And 1 pitch away from loading the bases for Daniel Descalso. There he is. '26-year-old Jordan Zimmerman from Wisconsin. And there's the strike, 3-1. Zimmerman from Auburndale, Wisconsin, population 750. So you'd think everyone knows everyone else.
I would think so. 749 since he's here now.
Unless someone moved in today. Yeah. Here's the 3-1 pitch in the air. It's going to score a run at least. This ball is going to be off the wall. Jason Worth off the base of the wall. Scoring is Craig. And Molina will go to third base on the double by David Freese. So that is the first extra base hit in this series after 15 singles. And it comes here in the Cardinals' second inning. Daniel Descalso, who was 0 for 2 yesterday with a walk and a sacrifice, looking at ball one inside. Jordan Zimmerman, by the way, is pitching after more than a week of rest. Cardinals with runners at second and third. 1-1 now. In for the strike. Ball and a strike to the Cardinals second baseman, with shortstop Pete Kozma on deck. There you see Molina at third base. David Freese at second. Freese with the RBI. Ground ball, base hit to right field. They're going to hold Freese at third. Molina will score. And the ball getting away in the infield, but no further advance. And the Cardinals take a 2-1 lead on Daniel Descalso's RBI single. They have runners at first and third, still nobody out. The Cardinals, to a man, expressed great support for him despite that error that opened the floodgates in the 8th inning for Washington. Getting back is Descalso.
That is one of those situations in years past. The Cardinals really like this first and third with a guy at the plate that can handle the bat. Might try a safety squeeze, a suicide squeeze, could be a straight sacrifice bunt. Even though the pitcher's on deck, Jaime Garcia swings the bat well in that 9 spot. No sign of a bunt there. Good rip by Kozma that time. There's the error in the ball game yesterday. Kind of a routine play, hit off the heel of his glove, came up, hit him in the face. He's been really good for the Cardinals, filling in, however, for Rafael Furcal. He's done it with the bat. He's done it with the glove.
And they were delighted that they finally got some stability at the shortstop position. As Kozma takes the ball 1-1. All started with Alan Craig with a hard hit ball off the glove of Ryan Zimmerman, an infield hit. Yadier Molina followed with a base hit, and then the double by Freese, knocking in a run, and then Descalso with an RBI single. So 4 straight hits for the Cardinals, and this one is popped out of play. So right now let's check in with David Aldridge.
Well, guys, you know, when Rafael Furcal went on the DL, Pete Kozma came up from Memphis at the end of August, and David Freese said when he came up he saw a calmness to Kozma. He said Kozma looked him in the eye and said he's just going to try to keep it simple from now on, and he's really solidified them at shortstop when they needed it, Dick.
And he started the last 18 games at that position, David. Fastball, fouling it back, and the count still 1-2. And nobody out. 4 straight hits, including the first extra base hit of the series, and the Cardinals taking a 2-1 lead. Swing and a miss on the breaking pitch. Tough pitch for Zimmerman. Strike 3. He mentioned yesterday how his playing time has lessened, but he has remained a professional, and Mike Matheny very impressed with his attitude. First pitch, a strike to Schumacher. Lays off the pitch well high, and it's 1-1. David Freese at third base and Daniel Descalso at first. Freese with an RBI double, Descalso with a single. And 3 of the 4 hits this inning have been to right or right center for the Cardinals. Out of play, 1-2.
You look back to the early part of the season, probably up until the All-Star break, the Cardinals were pretty much like the Cardinals under Tony La Russa. A lot of very versatile players that Mike Matheny mixed and matched and moved guys around, and it didn't matter who started the game. If you were on the bench, there's a good chance you were going to get into the game at some point. But down the stretch, when every game was so vitally important, he settled on a regular lineup, and Schumacher and Matt Carpenter were the two guys that struggled because of it. They didn't get the regular at bats.
Cardinals got off to a good start this year. In fact, they were 16-8 and had a 4.5 game lead early May in the NL Central. And then they dipped to the 500 mark in early June, and they never fell below the 500 mark. And of course, the Nationals didn't either in having the best record in the league. So first year manager Mike Matheny at age 42. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Schumacher battling at the plate. In fact, Bob, we have the greatest contrast we've ever had with managers, the oldest at 69 and the youngest at 42 managing the same game. Runners at first and third, 1 out. Cardinals with 2 runs in. Count is 2-2.
And obviously each manager with his own style, but I think the players for both teams have responded very well to the differing styles. Davey Johnson with a wealth of experience. He's seen just about everything there is to see in this game, especially in the postseason. And for Mike Matheny, even though it's his first year as a manager, he immediately commanded the respect of his team, and they played very hard for him.
Here's the 2-2 pitch, grounded, knocked down by Desmond. The throw to first base in time for the out. A run will score. Great play by Ian Desmond to save a base hit, and he gets Schumacher, but Schumacher will get the RBI as Freese comes across. Descalso goes to third, and the Cardinals now lead 3-1.
Once again, Cardinals trying to go to the opposite field. Desmond keeps it out of left. Boy, what a great off-balance throw. Couldn't get much on it, but has enough arm to get Schumacher at first base as Freese scored the 3rd run of the game for the Cardinals.
So there are 2 out. Descalso with the lead at second, and here is John Jay. A called 3rd strike in the 1st inning. First pitch outside, ball 1. So the Cardinals, who trailing 1-0 in this series and trailing 1-0 coming into the bottom of the 2nd inning, getting a couple of runs and then going to the bench for a pinch hitter is Mike Matheny. There's a shot, base hit, left field. Descalso will come around and score the 4th run. Throw to second base in time for the out is John Jay, trying to stretch the single into a double, but the damage is done, and the Cardinals get 4 runs on 5 hits. There is Morse with the throw, and the tag put on by Espinoza.